I'm sorry, but we don't allow your type here. The hotel manager's voice carries across the lobby as 25-year-old Staff Sergeant Lisa Chen stands at the check-in desk in her worn combat boots and faded jeans, her duffel bag at her feet after 30 hours of travel from Afghanistan. Behind the desk, two employees exchange knowing looks while a well-dressed couple waiting in line whispers and moves away from her as if she's dangerous. What none of them notice is the small silver star hanging from a ribbon around her neck. Tucked under her shirt, the Silver Star for gallantry in combat, earned 3 months ago when she saved 12 soldiers from an ambush that should have killed them all. Before we see what happens, hit that subscribe button if you believe people should never judge by appearances, and drop a comment about a time someone completely misjudged you, or someone you know. Lisa had been traveling for 30 straight hours. 3 flights, 2 layovers, 1 lost piece of luggage and a taxi ride from the airport. She was exhausted, dirty, and wanted nothing more than a hot shower and a bed that didn't smell like desert sand and jet fuel. She was on emergency leave. Her father had suffered a heart attack 2 days ago and was in intensive care at a hospital in Portland, Oregon. The army had expedited her travel from Kandahar, but getting out of a combat zone wasn't like catching a regular flight. There were manifests, cargo planes, security protocols. By the time she made it to commercial aviation, she had been awake for over 24 hours. The last flight landed at midnight. Her father's hospital was an hour outside the city, and Lisa figured it made more sense to get a hotel room near the airport, sleep for a few hours, then drive out in the morning when visiting hours started. She found a mid-range hotel that advertised military discounts. It looked clean and professional from the outside. She walked into the lobby carrying her duffel bag, wearing the same clothes she had been traveling in for a day and a half. Combat boots, worn jeans, an old army t-shirt and a hoodie. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She knew she looked rough, but she was too tired to care. The lobby was nice. Modern furniture, soft lighting, a few guests sitting in the lounge area with laptops and coffee. Lisa approached the front desk, where a young woman in a hotel uniform was typing on a computer. "Hi," Lisa said. "I'd like a room for tonight. Just a standard single." The desk clerk looked up and her friendly expression immediately changed. She looked Lisa up and down with obvious distaste. "Do you have a reservation?" "No, but your website said you had availability." The clerk clicked around on her computer with exaggerated slowness. "I'm not seeing any available rooms." Lisa frowned. "Your website showed 12 rooms available when I checked 20 minutes ago." The clerk's expression hardened. "Well, things change. We're actually fully booked now." Lisa was too tired for this. "Look, I just flew in from Afghanistan. I'm on emergency leave because my father is in the hospital. I just need a room for 1 night. Can you please check again?" The clerk's eyes narrowed. "Ma'am, I need to ask you to leave. We don't allow solicitation on our property." Lisa stared at her. "What?" The manager, a thin man in his 40s wearing an expensive suit, came over from his office. He had clearly been listening. "Is there a problem here?" The clerk spoke before Lisa could. "This woman is trying to rent a room, but she doesn't have a reservation. She claims she just flew in from Afghanistan." The manager looked at Lisa with barely concealed contempt. "Ma'am, this is a respectable establishment. We cater to business travelers and families. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Lisa felt like she had been punched. "Are you serious right now?" "I'm a soldier. I just got back from deployment." "I need a room." The manager crossed his arms. "You don't look like any soldier I've ever seen. You look like someone who shouldn't be in this hotel. Now please leave before I call security." A well-dressed couple in the lobby was watching the exchange. The man whispered something to his wife, and they both moved away from Lisa like she was contagious. Lisa's face burned with humiliation and anger. She was exhausted, worried about her father, and now being treated like a criminal because of how she looked after 30 hours of travel. "I want to see your corporate number," Lisa said quietly, "because I'm pretty sure discriminating against service members is illegal." The manager smirked. "Discriminating? I'm just protecting my other guests. You have no proof you're military. Anyone can wear army surplus clothing and make up stories." Lisa's hand went to her neck, where she wore the silver star on a simple chain. She had received it 3 months ago in a ceremony at Bagram Airfield. The citation was for valor in combat during an ambush that had nearly wiped out her convoy. She had been the gunner on the lead vehicle when insurgents hit them with RPGs and automatic weapons fire from 3 sides. The blast disabled their truck and wounded the driver. Lisa had taken control of the situation, using the mounted gun to suppress enemy fire while coordinating extraction for the wounded. She had held that position for 18 minutes under constant fire, giving the rest of the convoy time to establish a defensive perimeter and call for air support. 12 soldiers survived that day because of her actions. 3 of them told her later that they wouldn't have made it without her. The silver star hung around her neck as a reminder of the worst day of her life. She didn't wear it for show. She wore it because those 12 soldiers had signed a card thanking her, and she wanted to keep them close to her heart. She was about to pull it out and shove it in the manager's face when a voice interrupted. "Excuse me." Everyone turned. An older man, probably in his 60s, had stood up from where he had been sitting in the lobby lounge. He was wearing slacks and a button-down shirt, distinguished-looking with grey hair and sharp eyes. He walked over to the desk and looked directly at the manager. "I couldn't help but overhear this conversation. Did you just refuse service to a member of our military?" The manager straightened up. "So this doesn't concern you. I'm handling a situation with someone who what?" The man interrupted. "Someone who looks tired. Someone who's been traveling. Someone who you decided doesn't meet your standards." He turned to Lisa. "May I ask what unit you're with?" Lisa was too shocked to do anything but answer. "3rd Infantry Division. I'm a combat medic. I just got emergency leave because my father had a heart attack." The man nodded. "And where were you deployed?" "Kandahar. I've been there for 9 months. This is my 2nd tour." The man looked back at the manager. "So let me get this straight. This soldier just spent 9 months in a combat zone, got emergency notification about a family crisis, traveled for over a day to get home, and you're refusing her a room because she looks tired and disheveled." The manager's confidence wavered. "Sir, I don't know who you are, but..." The man pulled out his wallet and handed the manager a business card. "Retired Marine Corps Colonel Thomas Bradford. I also happen to be on the board of directors for this hotel chain's parent company. And I'm extremely interested in understanding your reasoning for discriminating against a service member." The manager's face went white. "Sir, there was a misunderstanding. You didn't realize she was military because you judged her based on appearance rather than asking questions," Colonel Bradford said. "You assumed the worst instead of showing basic human decency." He turned to Lisa. "May I see your ID?" Lisa pulled out her military identification card. Her hands were shaking slightly from exhaustion and emotion. Colonel Bradford examined it, then looked at her more closely. His eyes stopped on the ribbon around her neck. "That's a Silver Star ribbon." Lisa nodded, suddenly feeling self-conscious about it. "May I?" the colonel asked, gesturing. Lisa pulled the medal out from under her shirt. The Silver Star gleamed under the lobby lights. The entire lobby went silent. Even the couple who had moved away were staring now. Colonel Bradford read the engraving on the back. "For gallantry in action against an enemy of the United States." He looked up at Lisa with something like reverence. "Staff Sergeant Chen, it would be my honor to personally ensure you get the best room in this hotel, at no charge. For as long as you need it." The manager found his voice. "Of course, yes, absolutely. Our finest suite." "I apologize for the confusion." "There was no confusion," the colonel said sharply. "There was discrimination, and there will be consequences." He turned to Lisa. "Ignore these people. Let me help you get checked in properly." Within 5 minutes, Lisa was being escorted to a top-floor suite by the hotel's general manager, who had appeared from somewhere after receiving a phone call. The room was huge. King bed, separate living area, view of the city. Far nicer than anything Lisa had ever stayed in. The general manager couldn't apologize enough. "On behalf of the entire hotel chain, I am deeply sorry for how you were treated. The employees involved will be disciplined. Your stay is completely complimentary, and we'd like to offer you meal vouchers for our restaurant as well." After he left, there was a knock on the door. It was Colonel Bradford. "I wanted to check if you need anything," he said. "I made some calls. The hotel is arranging a rental car for you at no charge, so you can get to the hospital in the morning. I also contacted the hospital and made sure they know you're coming, so there are no issues with visiting hours." Lisa felt tears starting. She had been holding everything together for so long, and this stranger's kindness was breaking through all her defenses. "Thank you. You didn't have to do any of this." "Yes, I did," the colonel said firmly. "I spent 30 years in the Marines. I know what it's like to travel in uniform and get treated like royalty, then travel in civilian clothes and get treated like garbage. It's not right. You earned that medal. You earned respect. And I'm going to make sure this hotel chain knows exactly what happened here." He paused. "How's your father doing?" Lisa's voice cracked. "I don't know yet. They said he's stable but critical." "I'm scared." The colonel's expression softened. "Get some rest. See him in the morning. And know that there are people who appreciate what you've done. That medal around your neck, that represents something most people will never understand. Don't let ignorant people make you feel small." After he left, Lisa took the longest, hottest shower of her life. She ordered room service. She called the hospital and talked to a nurse who confirmed her father was stable and sleeping. Then she sat on the edge of the huge bed and cried. From exhaustion, from stress, from the kindness of a stranger who had stood up for her when she was too tired to stand up for herself. The next morning, the local news ran a story. Retired Marine Colonel witnesses discrimination against decorated Army veteran at hotel. The hotel chain issued a public apology. The manager and desk clerk were fired. The company announced new training programs for all employees on how to treat military members with respect. Lisa missed most of the media attention. She spent the next 3 days at the hospital with her father, who slowly recovered. When she told him what had happened at the hotel, he cried. Not because of the discrimination, but because a stranger had defended his daughter when she needed it most. Colonel Bradford visited Lisa's father in the hospital. The two veterans talked for hours, sharing stories about their service. The colonel told Lisa's father that his daughter was one of the finest soldiers he had ever met. Based on just one conversation, before Lisa returned to her unit 2 weeks later, she met with the colonel one more time. He had arranged for her to speak at a veterans event, where she shared her story about that night at the hotel. "The point isn't what happened to me," Lisa told the crowd. "The point is that we need to do better. Veterans come in all shapes, sizes, genders, and backgrounds. Some of us wear our service on our sleeves. Others keep it private. But all of us deserve respect. And we need to stand up for each other, the way Colonel Bradford stood up for me." Years later, after Lisa left the army and became a physician's assistant, working with veterans, she would often think about that night, about how close she came to just walking away from that hotel and sleeping in her car, about how one person's intervention changed everything. She kept in touch with Colonel Bradford until he passed away at 78. At his funeral, she wore her dress uniform and her silver star. She told his family that he had saved her twice, once in that hotel lobby when he defended her dignity, and once more by reminding her that her service mattered, even when others couldn't see it. The silver star still hung around her neck. She wore it every day, hidden under civilian clothes, not for show, but as a reminder of what she had endured and what she had overcome. And whenever she saw someone being judged unfairly, someone being dismissed because of how they looked or where they came from, she remembered Colonel Bradford's words, "Stand up, speak up, make it right." That's what real courage looked like. Not just on the battlefield, but in everyday life. In hotel lobbies and grocery stores, and all the places where people needed someone to stand up for them. Lisa had earned her medal-saving soldiers under fire. But Colonel Bradford had earned her eternal gratitude by saving her dignity when she needed it most. Both acts of heroism. Both equally important, both worth remembering.